There are numerous instances of involuntary labor by women, cooking, cleaning, sheltering, militants, sexually violence and assault on women.
Welcome back. In a historic move, victims of terror from Jammu and Kashmir got a platform to speak at the United Nations Human Rights Council. Just days after Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif played the Kashmir card once again at the Global Forum, accusing India of illegally and unilaterally occupying Kashmir. They have accused Pakistan of threatening locals, using their homes as safe houses, forcing them to speak against the Indian government and sexually assaulting women in the valley. After decades, they have been given a platform to counter Pakistan's propaganda and that terrorism is solely an internal problem in the valley and not exported from Pakistan. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has also hit out at Pakistan, calling them experts of international terror. This comes after two terror attacks in Udhampur and Pulwama right ahead of Home Minister Amit Shah's 3-day visit to Jammu and Kashmir. The Home Minister has now touched down in Jammu and is leading the centre's campaign for a security and Vikas revamp of the Union Territory. The security situation in the Kashmir Valley remains delicate, namely for migrants and Kashmiri Pandits. But the crackdown on terror continues amidst a major development push to achieve normalcy. Is the centre now waging an international battle of optics to challenge Pakistan's propaganda? Joining me on the show, Tuhin Sinha, spokesperson of the BJP, Sushil Pandit, activist, Kashmiri Pandit, Ahmad Ayaz is a political analyst. We also have Ashok Sajanhar, former diplomat, and Abdul Yaqoob. He is the spokesperson of PTI, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. Ambassador Sajanhar, repeatedly Pakistan has used international platforms to send a message convenient for itself regarding Kashmir. It was always about India versus Kashmir. Do you think that is being effectively countered by India repeatedly? If you look at it, since September 2021, India has been pretty vocal that Kashmir is an integral part and that Pakistan has no stakes whatsoever. And this move at the UNHRC, when Kashmiris themselves said that it's Pakistan which is actually bringing in terror in the valley and it's not something that's internal.
Well, thank you very much, Maria, for having me on your program. You know, I would say that this is one of the steps, a very important step in, putting paid to the Pakistani propaganda. You know, India has been really talking about the cross-border terrorism, international terrorism, how Kashmir and, of course, many other parts of India have also been suffering as a result of terrorism that we have had to face for last 20-30 years. But I think this is a very welcome move, because when our Kashmiri brethren and sisters, they go to any of the international platforms, UNHRC or other places, I think the manner in which they speak, because they are the ones who have gone through this experience. It's not, like someone who might be reading from a notes or something, but these are the people who feel what they are saying. They are saying from their own personal experience. And I think this empathy will really travel across to all the listeners and to all the viewers. So I think this is a very welcome move. Of course, this needs to be done, Maria, in addition to what we have been doing elsewhere, in the past, and should continue to do. Whether it is any multilateral fora, whether it is our bilateral discussions with US, with Quad and all the others, so that they are all sensitized, so that, when there are discussions at other fora, whether it is to keep Pakistan in FATF or take some other actions, those countries are also fully au fait with what, Pakistan has been.
Yes, it's been 3 years since the status quo which has existed so far in the Kashmir narrative was dismantled and challenged, certainly, since the abrogation of Article 370. Abdul Samad, we have seen how the valley is changing and undergoing that transformation. Why is Pakistan continuing with its propaganda? Don't you have enough and more concerns? Doesn't the government there of Shehbaz Sharif have enough and more concerns back home, domestic challenges which are evident, rather than bringing an issue which is purely Indian?
Well, first of all, the Kashmir was the bone of contention between Pakistan and India. Kashmir is a bone of contention between Pakistan and India, and it will remain the core issue between these two nuclear states. So what we need to do is we need to resolve this historical issue, which this is the outstanding issue between us.
But it's hardly an outstanding issue. I don't think so. Pakistan is really a stakeholder in this anymore.
I mean, at this moment, when you are saying that even though your Prime Minister Vajpayee and furthermore various Prime Minister has admitted that this is the bilateral issue between Pakistan and India, but the one who actually suffer is the Kashmiri people. And the family you are showing, if someone, I mean, we cannot take this family as the opinion of or the general sentiment of the whole Kashmir, that if someone is alleging
why not? If the family is a victim of target by Pakistan, if the family is of a Kashmiri minority, the Hindus of Kashmir, and they are being targeted by Pakistan, then they are a stakeholder and they represent Kashmir. Go ahead, Tuhin Sinha, respond to him.
Good evening, Maria. You know, I think the Pakistan needs to grow out of the delusion that it has any stake in Kashmir. When India and Pakistan became independent, Maharaja Hari Singh had a standstill agreement with both Pakistan and India. Pakistan broke that agreement. India turned out to be the savior. So I think from that point onwards, Pakistan should have moved away. And I think had they not been so delusional, they would have saved a lot of lives and would have been a progressive nation. Now, coming back to the recent development, I think it's a path-breaking moment in the history of Kashmir, and also in the way human rights movement has evolved in India, because till so far, till a few years ago, people like Teesta Setalvad had basically distorted the entire human rights movement. We need to acknowledge that the biggest victims of human rights are, the human rights violations are mostly, and in all cases, perpetrated by terrorists. If you realize the changes which have happened in Kashmir, we no longer refer to the word separatist. The people who have harmed the people of Kashmir are outright terrorists. That's point number one. Point number two, Pakistan again is being called out, and it is about time that with all the problems Pakistan is facing, finally it realizes that it has no business in Kashmir and moves out. And obviously, all of it has happened because of the wonderful diplomatic prowess that India enjoys under leadership of Modi ji and Mr. Jaishankar.